Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program with Lone Debater 7, and today we're going to be talking about oil refining. Yes, it is time to do some oil refining. So since last episode, I did set up some automated steel production over here. We've done some researches, so I've got all the tier 1 upgrades unlocked for our mecha, so we're a little bit faster, we generate energy better with fuels, and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. So to start off with oil, you need an oil extractor and you need one of these oil deposits. So you can rotate the extractor around so it's facing the direction you want. I want it to go this way so I can build my refineries down here. So there we go, oil extractor, collecting oil. Now there are storage tanks, which are liquid storage containers that you can place down, and I'm going to go ahead and do that and store some oil. We aren't building these automatically, so I am going to build just a few, so we've got some. But this will start stockpiling oil from our little well. Pretty good, right? Sometimes you'll find like 2 or 3 wells close to each other. It's worth it to just develop all of them at the same time, but one extractor should be able to power quite a few refineries for the base tier product. So we're gonna go ahead and put our 2 refineries. Okay, so we can make the red cubes now, that's why we need oil, but we're gonna go ahead and do this. So we're gonna set this to do plasma refining. It'll take crude oil and make light refined oil and hydrogen, both of which we need. So we're gonna go ahead and take this guy straight down like that. This is the oil supply for these refineries. We're going to put an advanced sorter on each of those feeding in, so these get enough oil to actually run. Place our power pole back here. That should work fairly good. Cool. We've got our little glowies. That's great. Next, we got to build a conveyor belt for light oil and a conveyor belt for hydrogen. And both of these machines need to connect to both of these belts. So when you have a machine that has 2 outputs, if you press tab, you can filter between the 2 of them. So this belt will be hydrogen, and this belt will be light oil. Cool. So this one will go out and be light oil, and the back one will be hydrogen. Oh, whoops, I need to reverse those, so... Whoops, not what I wanted. I didn't want to break the track. I just wanted to pull off the sorter. So actually, the middle one needs to be hydrogen and the back one needs to be oil. Okay, so we've got the 2 outputs kind of handled, kinda. What we're gonna do next is build storage tanks for both of them, and I want the storage tanks over here, so we're gonna put one there, which will be hydrogen, and we'll put one here for light oil. So we're gonna take our light oil tank down like that. Then for our hydrogen, we will go ahead and run it up over the top. Like that, into the tank. So there we go. We've got our refinery set up. So we could add more of these oil refineries. It's just a resource cost more than anything, and we'll start generating more hydrogen, because hydrogen, if we take a look in our little guy right here and go to components, we've got the red cubes. One of the ingredients is hydrogen. So we need the refiners to fill up this tank of hydrogen, because each one of these is required to build one of these, or actually it's 2 hydrogen per red cube. So right now we've got enough to make 25 red cubes, and that is it. So we will ultimately stack these refineries. So the way you stack them, I don't have any more built, and I can't build any because I don't have the steel. So let's pick up the steel while we're over here. Basically you put the refineries the opposite direction here. I'll explain what I mean. So I do have some light oil we can burn. Can also burn that. I don't really need that stuff. Let's do this. Okay. I did organize my inventory a little bit too. But I'd put a refinery on this side and this side, and then we can connect the belts in the middle so we don't have to mess with building a bunch of outward belts and all that noise. So okay, we've got some hydrogen going, at least a little bit. It's not ideal, like we're going to want more ultimately when we start putting down the labs to build the reds, but that's fine, we can do that in a minute. The second component are these guys right here. So I also went over here and set up a pretty easy smelting line. It's just coal into a smelter to make these guys energetic graphite. I've been storing it, so we've got a decent chunk. I do actually want a buffer of 8 of these. That way I can come over, grab 4 stacks, fill up my mech with this, and then go. Type is kind of what the thought is, but let's go ahead and build our 3 labs, and we're going to start building some red signs because we got the materials. So let's bring a conveyor belt from this box, at least over here, so it's by our hydrogen. I don't have any fuel, so we're going to take the 400 that we need to fill up our mecha. Cool. That works. And then our science lab, or our labs, are over here. So really, it would make the most sense to try to place the red science somewhere along this way. I could put it like right here, I guess. And we'll just... Or actually, that's not a great spot, because I want to be able to build more refineries down here. So actually, I'm going to build them like up here maybe. Yeah, we'll put them here. Sure. So what that means, we have to bring this over. We also need to bring this over. And really, if this is going to be ideal, you need to have 2 inputs for each of these. So like one would be there, one would be there, one would be this side maybe. There we go. Okay. And then the rest of this, I think I forgot to place the sorter. I did. Okay, so once this conveyor belt gets finished being constructed, and I place down this power pole, we'll have red signs being built automatically. I do have to set it to produce reds. Perfect. So the hydrogen should start flowing. We've got 173 in the tank. Not a whole lot, but it should fill this whole belt, I would think. So that'll be fine. And we have this set up that it will fill 2 hydrogen and 2 of these energetic graphites into the lab at a time.
Put them as a part of
so it should be getting the materials it needs to do 1 recipe every craft. So let's go ahead, put a conveyor belt like right here. I need to close this. Then we're going to have to go up a level, back down a level, and come right on over to here. So we can feed those straight in. We're not going to store these ones this time. I don't really think there's a reason to. I mean, I guess the reason would be if we ever do something that doesn't take red research, we can buffer it, but that's alright. I'm not too worried about that, honestly. Most stuff does take all the research colors as you unlock it, so we'll just do this. Place down our power connector. Bing. Perfect. So now these will fill up with red science packs. And what we could do to make it even better is go like this and just have 3 connections feeding in. It's unlikely that all 3 of these will be running constantly when we're doing research, just because we probably won't be making them fast enough, but on the off chance that we do make them fast enough, this will kind of help go through them a little bit better. Another thing we could do is extend this and increase the number of export points to 3. So it's drawing out 1 out of each lab every time it crafts, as opposed... I don't know if that actually is helping or not, but whatever. We've got it hooked up. We're buffering reds. Cool. So let's go back into our research screen. Now that we've got reds unlocked, we can do a lot of cool stuff. The first thing I want to do is X-ray cracking, because this will allow you to combine hydrogen and light oil together to produce hydrogen and the energetic graphite. So really, X-ray processing is the better way to make these, because you can put a refinery, or it's actually a chemical plant or whatever. You combine the 2 materials off of the refinery, you get more of the hydrogen, which you need to make the science packs, and you get the other secondary item that you need to make the science packs. So it's a little bit better, because we're going to run out of hydrogen pretty quick. Like, we're already, like, the buffer's already been depleted and is being depleted as we speak. So that's kind of the plan. Once that research comes in, we'll set up a chem plant. I guess I could take a look and try to build one of these real quick. So we'll build that. Refinery. We'll actually build 2 more refineries just so we have them and see if that will work. But this was saying it's hydrogen and light oil together, so let's... So it has sides. That's how it does it. So what I actually want to do is change where this hydrogen is coming from. I gotta wait for the research before we do anything, because we need 400 of the red cubes, so this is gonna have to do until the research finishes. But in the meantime, like, let's go to our supply side of our factory and pick up some stone and that kind of stuff. Fly on over, you know, like you do. So we've got that. Cool. I think we're good on power poles. Wireless poles, we could take a 50. Just fill that up. Cool. And I think that's really all we need at this point. Like, I'm not too worried about it. But we'll go back over. So that's our refinery. This is our graphite production. So that's not too bad. We will eventually be able to fly between planets and improve our resource diversity, which we're going to have to do here shortly anyway, because we don't have titanium or silicon available on this planet. So, like, we can't mine those 2 resources here. And the yellow science pack takes both of those resources, or takes titanium, and then you need silicon shortly thereafter to build some stuff. So we need both of those resources ultimately, so we're going to work on trying to get those. What I'm thinking I'm gonna do with the chem plant is I kind of like want to put it in here. So, like, if I break that, move our power pole to this side instead, what I can do is put the chem plant back like this. I don't have the X-ray cracking recipe yet, but we can pull the light oil from right here. And then we can pull the hydrogen from right here. And then we'll feed the hydrogen back in to the tank at this point. So, like, do that, do that, oh, whoops. And this will actually produce 2 things, so we will need to filter it. For hydrogen only. And then from the other side, we'll grab the graphite. We won't be able to actually put the sorter on this side yet, just because we don't have the recipe unlocked, so it won't work, but that's okay. We'll get everything ready to go because I know that this is going to be what we're using. So once we get the process unlocked for X-ray cracking, we're going to set this to do X-ray cracking for us. And then it's going to turn this oil and this hydrogen into more hydrogen and these guys. And we'll be able to fill up this tank with the same amount of oil. So like we got 2 refineries going right now. We can take those 2 refineries and produce the same amount of hydrogen. So like every time this ticks over, you get 1 of each, right? So crude oil gives you 1 hydrogen, 2 light oil. Okay, so if we take that 1 hydrogen and pass it through this process, for each 1 hydrogen, or so for each 2 hydrogen, we get 3 hydrogen. So it's worth doing it. It increases your yield. It triples the amount of hydrogen you're getting. Or it's not quite that much, it's like 1.5 times more hydrogen. But anyway, guys, we'll take a look at that next time, and we'll just to kind of show off how you can improve your hydrogen production for your red cubes, because that tends to be the issue on the red cube production, is generating enough hydrogen. And you can just simply add more refineries. Like if I put another refinery back here and set it to do the same thing, it would help a little bit, but I want to try going the chem plant route because I think it's going to be more efficient for us in the long run. So anyway, that's kind of my plan. We have 2 hydrogen being produced because we got 2 refineries, so it'll be able to do the 2 to 3. So this basically makes it so these 2 are acting as if it was 3, and we don't have as much light oil waste, which is nice. And what I could do from this step is, if I take another one and pass it through a second time, we'll use all the light oil that's being produced here, and we'll end up with 2 additional hydrogen. So it'll be as if we had 4 refineries from 2, which is pretty good. And we also probably wouldn't need to have this conveyor belt being fed by that storage crate either. But guys, I think that's all we have time for today. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been LoneDebater7, and we will see ya.